In March, at the start of a period of unseasonal sun, I was packing up the van and bidding farewell to the trains, bidding farewell to the smog, bidding farewell to the cat, and preparing to drive 4 hours north. I was going to be spending 2 days holed up inside an industrial unit in Stockport with 120 other nerds. Let's rock. The first stop was Hackney, to pick up the first of 2 friends joining me for the weekend, Graham. We headed out of London, and soon enough the motorways gave way to the picturesque winding roads of the Peak District. The road led us ever on to Edale, a 40-minute hop from the venue, and the place we'd be camping for the weekend. In panicking to find somewhere to stay, we'd stumbled across Newfold Farm, a beautiful little spot in Hope Valley and at the start of the Pennine Way, a 260-mile walk through the Peak District and the Yorkshire Moors. It was the dictionary definition of quaint. After arriving, we spent some time faffing with the tent, and then we went to the pub. We knew we were in the north now because they took regular meals and served it in a giant Yorkshire pudding, which is excellent. Some hours later, the last of our company, Hayden, arrived. And exhausted, we all hit the hay.
Good night.
I genuinely couldn't sleep for excitement that night, like a kid before Christmas, and I woke up bright and early to capture a sunrise and contemplate the weekend ahead.
Milkless granola with gold syrup.
Hey, it's a meal.
It's so weird. Don't look at me.
After breakfast, we headed to the venue, Element Games, for the first day. I was very excited to be taking my brand new Riders of Theoden Legendary Legion, which I'd painted amongst the beaches, woods, waterfalls and mountains of the Scottish Highlands. But more on that in a future video. My army was Theoden, Eomer, Gamling and Durnhelm. There were 20 riders, none with throwing spears, but with a spattering of axes. There was a banner and a warhorn. Theoden's warband had 3 Royal Guard. Hayden was taking a Minas Tirith list, and Graham was taking a Barad-dûr list, in his own words, so he could take Sauron and he wouldn't have to paint as many orcs. Admittedly, the venue was much less picturesque than Hope Valley, but we weren't here to ogle the outside, and the tournament organisers had captured beauty where it counts. We were greeted by 2 rows of bespoke 3D gaming boards. Look at the terrain, the building, the woods, the water! It looked incredible. This was my kind of tournament. Of course, at a 120-person event, not every table can be like this, but the prospect of playing one later in the day was tantalising. I also know that the TO Steve is passionate about these builds and looking to increase the number in future years. My first game would be against Donald and his mixed list of Corsairs of Umbar and Serpent Hoard.
I didn't hear that announcement at all, but apparently the round is underway.
Oh Christ, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Donald's leader was Dalamir. He then had Delgamar, a Corsair captain, and Suladan for the Serpent Hoard. He had a total of 55 models, including 15 Corsair Arbalasters and 6 cavalry in the form of Serpent Raiders. The game was Assassination, where each force secretly selects a hero from their own army to be their assassin, and a hero from the enemy army to be a target, and attempts to slay the target with the assassin. Perhaps uncontroversially, I chose Eomer as my assassin, and I chose Suladan as the target, hoping as a cavalry model he'd be getting stuck in and might be relatively easy to bait. In an ominous first roll for the tournament, I got a 1 for priority. So Donald started forming his lines around the foot of the hill to take up defensive positions to protect his Arbalasters, who had a great view from the summit. It was then my move, and I had to make an early game choice between rushing the line as quickly as possible and trying to get off some half-assed Rohanish shooting along the way.
They've not got targets, so they could theoretically get shots off at -1. I think these guys are going to have to come over.
Yeah.
So let's just do that. Get 10 inches. These guys are just shuffling up 5. So they move 10, so they're not shooting. They move 5, so they're shooting at -1.
Yeah.
They didn't move.
Cool.
Yeah, that's my movement done.
We were then into shooting, and it was time for Donald to pick who he wanted to die first with those brutal Corsair Arbalasters.
Yeah, there you go.
Need to see who I picked. All right, guys.
If you immediately go for Emma now, it's going to give the game away.
All right, I think I might just start with Riders of Rohan for now.
Okay, cool. So not Emma, just...
No. Well, how many in the ways?
So you're gonna
Well, I might build to that. We'll see how many riders I get.
Yeah, fair play.
Donald got 1 rider in this round and was making quick work of the mounts, but I was not without my luck.
Nice. So throne rider.
Yep.
Again, rises from the dust. These guys are having it. It's another one gone. So that's the whole contingent of riders. That's painful.
That's right, Irma's entire warband was dismounted, but at least the Marshal himself escaped injury.
So, Throne Rider. Again! I mean, to be fair...
I tell you, if there's a prize for Throne Rider test, you're already winning it.
I'm hoping there is, because that's the only reason I brought this list. Right, you're very quickly getting through my supply of dismounts here, so... right then.
Well, I'll try and kill a few of them next turn.
I appreciate that, thank you so much.
Rohan's return fire was unsurprisingly ineffectual after that, and as we went into turn 2, the Corsairs remained at full strength.
2 priority. Whoop. The big 3.
6, nice. This is Charge of the Light Brigade territory. We're just rampaging into the jaws of death. Excellent trumpet, by the way, I approve.
Yeah, no worries. It's one of my few talents, mouse trumpet.
Shift them over. Give Theoden a hole. And hope that he's got a few in the ways on the flanks there. Irma, I think, is going to come and join Gamling for might generation purposes and also for in the way purposes. That's me for movement.
Alrighty.
We were then back to Rohan shooting, and after the dismounted models failed to do any damage at all, it was up to the 3 riders who were advancing to pick their targets.
Let's go with some of the cav actually on the right hand side.
Yeah, I thought you might.
So I don't think we've got any in the ways on this first one.
No.
Yeah,
they're all clean shots.
So we've got
Damn it.
2 hits actually. Let's go left, yeah.
This one, yeah. Alrighty. Randomise. It's Rider, 5 up. It's out of the tray. Better shot this time.
Yes!
Unreal.
And the one on the right, randomise. That's a horse.
Yes.
That's a kill.
That's a Throne Rider. It's out of the tray. It's a 4.
Nice. So
goes here. That's your shooting?
That's it.
Alright, let's see who can do this.
What followed in return was an absolute mountain of Corsair shooting, with almost every throwing weapon being in range, and the Corsair Arbalasters on the hill once again unleashing absolute hell. And after removing another handful of riders, we were back to priority in one that I really wanted because I was finally in range to charge.
No, I can't.
Alright, I'll have priority then. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that didn't go entirely to plan, but I opted for heroic move with Theoden and called with me. There was no counter-heroic move, and so I managed to get the bulk of my force into the Corsair front line. This was a very satisfying moment, the first mass cavalry charge of my brand new Rohan army. However, without the numbers or the range to wrap around his flanks, he started to get his models in behind me. The trapper became the trappee. You might also note that Suladan, my target, had come out behind the line and was now tantalisingly close to Irma, my assassin. With my priority move, the right-hand flank moved up, first Gamling's group getting close to the portion of the Corsair line that had retreated backward, and making progress towards the hill and the dreaded Arbalasters. Finally, Durnhelm completed the line.
It's my priority.
And back we are with a bucket load of Corsair shooting.
Oh, great. We'll start with the easy stuff. I've got 3 throwing weapons here at riders. Just 2 riders, if I get that lucky. 1 hits. Go for the nearest one. Hits the rider. 5 up needed. 5 up needed. Yes.
Donald's attention then moved to Theoden.
Into combat from these 3. It's 2 hits. First one hits me 4 up. No. Second one hits me 4 up. No. We'll do another pod of 3. That's 3.
These shots proved more effective, after a fashion, and both Corsairs in combat with Theoden found themselves out of action. They'd paid a heavy price, but they'd opened Theoden up to a hail of fire, and switched off his heroic combat if he survived. You can read more about this winning strategy in my upcoming polemic, Fuck Corsairs! A salty boy's struggle against fantasy pirates.
So, clean shots, let's get into it. Let's do 3 shots in there. Yeah. It's 2 hits. First one, it's the horse, 5 up needed. He's dehorsed.
Right, yep.
Because he's out of fate points.
So Theoden lost his horse, but at least Expert Rider saved him from the embarrassment of a painful dismount. Despite this early success, at the end of the shoot phase, Theoden and his riders remained standing.
Alright, so we're on to the fight phase. You've no heroes in combat, do you? Let's do a heroic combat with Delgamar.
This is a big roll. Delgamar is doing a heroic combat against the Royal Guard at the end of the row. I have one attack to try and at least draw his fight 5.
That's life. We'll do Delgamar. That's a 5, so that's fair. 3 spears. 6. So that's a drawn combat. It's my priority. You're the good guys. I'm the bad guys. Bad guys. Thank you, Trey. Thank you. He's trapped, obviously. So yeah, I'll just do Delgamar because he's 4s. Yeah. It was spicy.
Very spicy.
I'll put Soledad in here.
The Serpent Raider then got into combat with my banner. We were now into the regular priority fights.
Just in case, so I'll do 4 guys in here against this guy. Oh, alright, I can draw it. I do not, but I have a banner reroll. I still do not draw it.
Happily, this led to not 1, but 2 dead Corsairs.
Let's do the 1-on-1 against your banner here. So you get a 2.
Not good.
A 4 from Dernal means I want to rely on my banner reroll. A 5 goes to 4 because of my banner, and so we roll off with drawn fight.
Randomise. Good guys win.
I didn't get the kill, but was just relieved my banner was still alive.
Same bronchite fence.
By the end of this fight phase, I'd killed 9 Corsairs, and lost only 1 rider in return. A big loss when you only have 27 models to start with, but still, I was starting to whittle them down.
And that's all the fighting.
Yeah, that's it. So back to priority.
Back indeed to priority, sir.
If you get a 1...
Nah, that's fine.
Alright, that's not ideal.
I called my heroic move with Theoden, who would catch everyone except for Eowyn's group on the right flank. Donal called one with Dalamir on the left flank. And like nothing else before, in my life, I wanted this roll-off.
Alright, best of luck.
Good luck.
No, shit. Jesus. Oh.
Alright.
Let's go back, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go back, guys. Alright, so he calls with me. He's going to charge Theoden. Goes in there. Alright, let's start rolling some dice. That's what this army does. It rolls lots of dice. So let's do throwing weapons. So I've got all of these.
All that Corsair shooting removed just a single additional rider, but that still hurt. And Donal's heroic move locked down my heroic move, and then his priority move locked down almost everything else. It had been a massive priority roll, and I was in some trouble. But with all my heroes in combat and desperate times, it at least meant it was time for my big blue button.
Okay.
You can't hear it at all, but it plays a recording of Theoden shouting death, so...
Just about hear it.
For anyone who doesn't know, Death is a one-use special rule from the Riders of Theoden Legendary Legion that allows any hero within 12 inches of him to call either a heroic combat or a heroic strike if able. In the middle, Éomer and Gamling both called combats. Theoden then called strike, as he was in combat with Fight 5 Dalamir, and Dernhelm called strength, because she was in combat with 2 Fight 3 Serpent Raiders.
Okay.
So, I will strike with my leader.
Donal, meanwhile, called heroic strike with his leader, Delamar, and combats with Dalgamir and with Suladan.
Right, so we each have 2 heroic combats.
Yes, we do.
So, no pressure there at all.
It's your priority.
Yes. 3. I'll do Suladan's.
Yeah, I thought you might. So he's only got that one little guy now.
Yeah, I didn't charge infantry, so I don't get the bonus.
So I'm going to shield.
Yeah.
6.
Not ideal. 5. Reroll the 4.
Oh, yeah.
Damn you, Trey!
2. Are you going to might?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Better kill him now.
Yes, you're absolutely right, yeah.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, he did get him.
Yeah, he's got it.
Alright, so he did.
Winning his heroic combat, Donal moved Suladan into Éomer and a spearman into Gamling, who was the next heroic combat to go off, with his 2 attacks at 5-4.
Yeah. Right, well, I can always reroll 1 for myself if necessary.
5 for me.
Which is necessary.
Yeah. Trey. So you're still on a 4 high. I'll reroll 1 of mine. Alright, so I'm on a 5 high.
Okay.
I'd now need to spend Gamling's 2 remaining might points if I wanted to win the fight. Not an unappealing prospect given Gamling will be generating 1 next turn, for his special Rohan banner.
If you want to chance it, it's 1 might, otherwise you lose.
He's generating, and I don't think we've got that long left. I'm going to burn both his points of might.
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
Striking on this guy here
Okay.
with just his 2 attacks.
Back away.
A 4.
He's strength 4 though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. He could now come round and get in with sort of that.
Yeah, he should have the move.
Let's do that.
Yeah. I'll do this heroic combat now.
This is now Delgamar's heroic combat with my banner.
Oh, I can see. And then you're going to... I see what's happening here.
Well, I have options.
You've got options.
Yeah. I have options. So, you have 1 attack, I have 3. I need a 5. Please don't fuck it up. Oh, God. Alright, if you get a 6, you are technically winning.
No.
Okay, alright.
It's his horse. Sorry, it's his horse pushing him out the way.
Yeah, no, that's no problem.
No, the base doesn't fit. He hasn't got an
Okay,
inch.
doesn't fit? Okay.
No, doesn't
Alright, so, 4s.
He's dead. And the banner is lost.
Indeed it is, sir. Indeed it is.
Nicely done.
Aomer's combat must go next, because that's a heroic combat.
You've got 2 guys. I've got 3 for his 3 attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, can't be that.
Okay,
By all
so
means.
I've got 1 on the right,
Sure.
dead. 1 on the left,
Yep.
is dead.
Bit of chest hair. Alright, we're on to priority. We're back to the priority fights. I'm going to do gamblings because I think there's a small chance I've trapped him. I won't know until he moves.
Okay, fine. So I've got my 2.
Alright, you've got 2 attacks.
That's 5.
So I'll need a 6 or a 5 to get... Alright, so I can win it. I'll re-roll 1 of mine, see if I get a 6.
For the banner, yep.
Try that again. Nope.
No. So I will might up to a 6, but then
So-
you'll presumably might up to a 6.
Yeah, I'll have to might up and spend it.
Well, yeah, I'd rather you burn because I generate and you don't.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he burned a might, but Delgamar wins it on fight, and now Gambling is trapped.
Defense 6, you say?
Spend 6.
I'll stick them all on him.
Just a pair of 4s will do it.
Oh no!
They were out of the tray, I swear.
I felt like such a dick watching this back. You can hear the unbridled, self-satisfied joy in my voice as I realise what's just happened.
I felt that. I felt it.
Yeah, oh, that one hurt. That one hurt.
Then came a number of non-character priority combats. There was carnage on both sides, but with my dwindling numbers, I was feeling the hurt for every loss more than Donal was feeling his.
I've got 2 guys here against
Theoden.
With equal fight, first came the strike-off between Theoden and Dalamir.
Okay, so my strike 3, so bring me up to 8.
Mine 4.
4, so you need the 6 and you've won it.
Alright, so 3 attacks from Dalamir, 6.
Oh, you got it.
No might left, so he just strikes normally. He rerolls to wound though. Yeah.
Nice.
6s.
Well, good, because that was poor.
It was poor, yeah.
That's
2
still-
5s. And the Corsair, 5. No.
Do we come to it at last?
We're, the great battle of our time. God almighty. Sullivan
it?
versus Aomer, that's what it is.
It's all
basically.
down versus Aomer, yeah.
And we're both fight 5.
Aomer's got 3 attacks.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But I can might. 4s.
So we're drawing currently.
How much might do you have?
I have 1, so I need a good banner reroll here. Yeah. I get a 5.
5.
Okay.
Well, I might as well banner reroll.
I have to spend the might points because I'm trapped.
It's a roll-off for the fight, and with Éomer in with a trapped Suladan, it could win me the game.
Come on, come on, come on!
Oh, thank fuck. I'll just chuck them all at your horse because you're going to take fate points on them, aren't you? Is 3 fate?
3 fate.
Yeah. Alright. Horse o'clock. Rerolls 1s for poisoned sword.
Nice. Oh.
2 wounds on the horse.
There's
All
2
right.
wounds.
Let's see what you got.
So I'll spend 2 fate to start with because for Horse Lord, both passed. So down to 1 fate, but the horse alive. I
Alrighty.
apologise.
But you nudge away,
Is that it?
That is it.
What a round! All right.
We had now 8 minutes left in the game, and I had just broken with 13 models left of a 27 model starting force. We therefore decided it was a good time to call it.
Well, good game.
Fuck me.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that was a
stuff in
plucky
there.
break.
Yeah.
That was a plucky break.
So what have you got then? Who was your assassin and who was your
Assassin.
Soldan and target?
Yeah.
And mine was exactly the same in reverse. So none of us wounded each other.
No. Leaders are fine. I think I get 3 points for breaking
me.
because I have shitloads of lads
How
left.
close were you to breaking? A long way off.
Nope, like maybe another 10.
It had been a fantastic game, and Donal is a blast to play against. I was delighted to see that he went 5 for 1 and placed 7th in the tournament overall. Whilst I lost some key priorities and move rolls, and one very key duel roll, I do have to accept that I lost this game all of my own volition, and Donal definitely deserved the win. My deployment was too diffuse, and I had an unreasonable fear of the Serpent Raiders, meaning I deployed too far back. This gave Donal an extra turn of shooting. So we were into lunch, and Graham and Hayden had also suffered losses, so we consoled ourselves with some retail therapy. My next game was against Paul Marshalsea and his Rivendell, a force I'd never encountered before. He'd brought Elrond, Lindil, and Glorfindel. We had the same number of miniatures at 27 apiece. However, Rivendell's minimum fight 5 across the board turns one of Rohan's strongest points, +1 fight on the charge, into an irrelevance. The game was capture and control. You can see the 5 objectives there on the table, which we had to hold at the end of the game, and there was the usual points for hurting heroes and breaking armies. Theoden's warband went down first, pretty centrally, blocking the Knights of Rivendell's passage between the trees and the hill. You can see by the end of deployment, Eomer's, Durnhelm's and Gamling's warband have simply stacked up to the left of Theoden's. The Rivendell Knights now had a long way to go if they wanted to assist the archers, who were in a pretty precarious situation. I hoped that Elrond would therefore need to throw himself in to try and break my momentum before reinforcements arrive.
So first turn priority then.
Have a good game.
Yes, and you too. 6, strong start. 5, so close.
Something to be aware of. Paul has got 3 points to spend, which he can use to amend a priority roll by 1.
Oh, you could make it a 6.
He decides to take this option, out of concern for his archers.
6, so we re-roll. 2, not so good. You've got it.
Sadly, I'd put all my eggs in the getting priority basket by leaving all of my heroes behind the lines to protect them from turn 1 elven bowfire, meaning a heroic move was of no use to me now. Paul moved his warriors into the trees and onto the central objective. His knights moved onto the rightmost objective at the far side of the lake, except 2 riders who accompanied Glorfindel up the centre of the board. Finally, Elrond and his contingent of archers shuffled back a few inches to get shots, whilst not having to receive a charge this turn. In my move, siblings Éomer and Éowyn moved their riders up to form a new line between the trees and the hill to advance on the elven archers. Now, I'd created a bit of a bottleneck myself, so with the rest of my movement, Gamling just started to come around the back of Éowyn and Éomer's group, and Theoden's group simply reformed to get shots at the elves in the trees.
Right, I will put 7 shots into the lady.
Yep. You have some in the ways, I guess.
Yeah, in the ways, all the way. I think it's basically all this in the way.
Sure.
Those 7 shots would kill the in-the-way rider, but their sacrifice kept Durnhelm unharmed.
We'll put them on Elrond, but they're obviously all going to be getting in the ways in front here.
In reply, I had 10 shots from the leftmost front rank. They had moved, so they'd be hitting on 5s. Now is time to show the world how effective Rohan shooting can really be.
Guy, so hits. Nope. 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 No. Good. Well done, Riders. Covering yourself in glory there.
Orc shooting.
Yeah, it is orc shooting.
Right.
That's it for shooting.
Priority.
Back to priority. Okay, come on. Bring me some luck. Oh, sorry, out of the tray.
I'm on a 2.
Easy to beat. Don't get a 1. There we go, 4.
Even with priority, I was not going to be getting a big charge this turn, so instead I just created 2 lines, one on the hill and one between the hill and the trees.
And that's my move.
Okay.
Taking advantage of woodland creature, Paul moved 2 warriors into the right flank of my new battle line. His archers then took the plunge, charging my riders on the hill head on. Elrond then comes in to cast the terrifying Wrath of Bruinen, which will unhorse any cavalry model within 3 inches of him. I'd gambled heavily, throwing so many riders into such a tight space. I'm hoping that he'll fail to cast on a 4-up, and next turn, Elrond will be a sitting duck, surrounded by still-horsed riders.
He's got 3 will. He gets a free 1 for Lindir.
Okay.
So I'm going to use a point of will.
No, unlucky.
Just going to go into 2.
Nice.
On the other side of the woods, Glorfindel and his escort continued their advance. It was then time to waste everyone's time with a bit more Rohan shooting.
So I've got the 2 bows here.
Yeah.
Who are actually going to fire at the rider, but I've got to get through
Okay.
Glorfindel. So they didn't move, so they hit on 4s. We got 1 hit in the way for Glorfindel. Get past it, so onto one of the riders behind. And then I need a 6 again. Come on.
Just a 6.
Just a 6.
There you go.
Just a 6.
Which one?
The one with the white rock, yeah.
Okay, Rohan's archery can consider itself redeemed, for now. That was it for the shooting of any interest, and we were on to combat. With Elrond being the only hero engaged, he did not call, so we were just fighting as priority.
Let's just start on the far flank here. We've got 2 of your archers versus my 1 rider. You charge, so I've just got the 1. You need a 6. And I got a 6. So back away. I'll make 1 strike on the one on the left. No. And next one along, same again. 4. So you got it. So back away.
Yeah. So 2s and 1s don't do it.
Next down the line, we've got 1 on 1. I've got it. 1 strike. Nope, that's definitely not going to do it. And then we come to Elrond on 2 riders. Oh, I can do it. I've got a banner, so I might as well re-roll that. That's cocked, do you think?
Yeah.
Come on, the tension. Oh, well, if I'd beaten Elrond, it would have been a bit much.
Strength 4, defense 5, so 5s.
Yep. No.
Lord of the West.
Was that a re-roll?
Yeah.
Okay, which one was that?
So this one.
Dead. Thank you. So let's go.
These 2 against this one.
Yeah. Use the Enroot dice. Oh dear. Enroot dice have betrayed me. Harry, I blame you for this. You got him?
Yep.
That's it, is it?
Yep.
Back to priority. I get the feeling that this is a big priority roll.
It can be quite important because you really want to charge.
I really want this. Oh. Yes! Oh no, you can...
Right, so you had it last time, didn't you?
So if you point up, you get it.
I'll point up.
No! No!
So that is now...
That's a good rule, that.
Everyone loves that rule.
I'm a big fan. I'm going to call with Éomer and Éowyn.
I'll counter call with Lindir.
This is a huge roll-off for me. My gamble with Elrond failing to get off Wrath of Brunnen last turn is only worth a damn if I can lock him up now and stop him having a second bite of the cherry.
I'll be evil. I'm fine with it.
You look evil.
Alright, maybe I'm good then. Yes, what a call.
So you go first.
Right then.
You're going to choose her, yeah?
I think we'll probably go with Éowyn.
Oh, are you?
No, because no. So he just called, right?
Yes.
So we want to lock him down. What's his fight value?
He's 5'5",
5'5", and
but he's in his pyjamas, so it's like defense 4.
Yeah, let's turn your heroic move off with that.
With Rivendell's heroic move out the window, both Éomer's and Éowyn's groups were now free to move before the priority moves. And by the end of it, it was looking a bit grim for Paul.
Priority moves then. So I can see the trap I'm falling into here. I need to be very careful of. If these charges all come off and I break you really quickly, what I have done is given up board control on this side of the board. And of course I could theoretically break you and then you'll end up winning by holding the objectives.
Possibly. Yeah. I'd like to think that's a cunning plan of mine. But...
Just go with it.
Paul didn't have much priority moving, but Glorfindel's riders finally reached the back of the line and hit the few riders I'd left behind to hold them up long enough for the main force to deal with his infantry. So we were into the fight phase, and it was time for the cringy moment that I hit the big blue button.
I don't know if you can hear that at all. I think I'm going to strike and strike. Everyone's going to strike.
I'm going to strike with Elrond, and I'm going to combat with Glorfindel.
Nice, so you can see if you can get that slingshot off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a risky, dicey one, but...
Glorfindel to combat first then.
Yeah.
So I'm just on 2.
I'm on...
That's going to be a 1 and a 1. That's a 1 and a 1. So you've got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 fights.
No! So that's to get in with gambling, is it?
Yeah. Let's do the one over there so it doesn't get forgotten.
What? So you can't lose. Even then you win.
So basically I'm on 4s to win.
Oh.
Next it was time for Glorfindel on gambling, and I'd been a complete idiot by not seeing the combat coming and therefore not calling heroic defense. I needed to roll big.
Okay, I can do it, unless you want to might up, of course. I'm going to ban a reroll for myself.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're going to might up.
Lord of the West.
Is that Lord of the West?
Okay, so I will, I'll might it.
Okay, so you've won.
Paul needs a pair of 5s.
Oh,
Lord of the West.
okay.
No,
Another point of might?
No, I'm going to save it.
Okay.
Gambling appears to be making a habit of this. In the ensuing non-hero fights, I managed to get a couple of elves off the table.
Right, Elrond then is against 2.
In your position,
Lord of the
5.
West.
you've got 8 models.
Paul used the last of his might to get to 5 and win on fight value.
I might as well reroll with a banner. So I get this 6.
So hang.
Now let's just pause for a moment here to acknowledge that we've just made a colossal error before everyone puts it in the comments anyway. I'd forgotten about my reroll until after Paul had spent Elrond's last points of might. We initially therefore decided that I could reroll, but that Elrond's might should be refunded. Intrigued about whether I would theoretically be within my right to wait until he had spent his might and then reroll, dick move though that would be, we checked with the TO, who said that that was perfectly fine, and so then we unrefunded Elrond's might. On getting home and checking the rulebook, it seems absolutely clear that Paul was within his right to wait until any rerolls had occurred before deciding whether or not to spend his might, and I feel very bad that we robbed him of it. Now, if you want, you can feel free to put it in the comments anyway, with your best chastisement, both to assuage my guilt and to shamelessly leverage this injustice in order to game the YouTube algorithm.
Very much.
Rats.
I know, it's unfortunate.
Now, if it helps at all, it seems that after all that excitement, I forgot to make any strikes, so it all kinds of balances out in the end anyway. After this, the carnage continued, with no riders going down, but Lindell being counted amongst the elven dead. We were then back to priority.
6.
Is that 6 again? I keep seeing that symbol. Glorfindel will call a move.
I will counter call with gambling.
Okay.
So it's my priority. So 1, 2, 3. I get it because I'm evil in this scenario.
Where's that 6?
I used my heroic move to lock down the bulk of the elven forces, with Gamling and Theoden on Glorfindel, and Éomer on Elrond. Éomer will then be joined by Durnhelm in the priority moves. A number of riders, however, failed their terror checks, and so would not join the royal household against the elven lords.
So I think that's it for the Elrond charges, which means this is the last one that was caught, and he's just going to get this guy like this.
With Paul's heroic move now switched off, we went into my priority moves, and things were looking very good for the Rohirrim. But I did need to be careful of the fact that I only had 6 more models to go until Paul was broken, and at the moment, he controlled the objectives. With Paul's move, he moved his free knights into the leftmost objective to try and steal it back from my lone rider, and bring some desperately needed reinforcements into the melee on the hill.
So your call on combats.
Combats. Okay, so Durnhelm's going to strike. Éomer's going to strike. Gamling's doing heroic defense. Theoden's going to strike. And you're not doing any heroics.
I've got nothing.
No might. Okay, so alright.
I've got nothing.
In the non-hero combats, Rohan again showed how brutal they can be on the charge, taking no casualties in return, and with the lone rider even holding on to the leftmost objective. The first hero up was Glorfindel v Gamling, Theoden, and a pair of riders.
So 2 for Theoden, 2 for Gamling, and 1 for each rider. I got my 6. And you are trapped.
Yeah.
So we're doing 10 strikes. Okay, so I need 6s. 1, 6. Do you want to fake that?
Yep.
No. Got it. And then Theoden is making 6 strikes. I might use his last point of might actually. Actually, he's got 2. So I'm going to might the 5.
Yep. So I'll do last point of fate then.
Okay. No, so he's taking a wound.
Taking a wound.
How many's got left? 2 left.
2 left.
And then Gamling's doing 4 strikes. 1, 5. I use the might, give him a wound.
Brutal for Glorfindel, but he clung to life. Next it was striking Durnhelm against mightless Elrond.
Éowyn strike. Oh, not great. 2.
What fight is she?
So she's fight 5, so she's going to fight 7, and your fight...
I'm fight 6.
Okay, so she has got it. There's the 6. And you are trapped.
Yeah.
So that's doubles. Well, Durnhelm basically is getting 6, so I'll do theirs first. That's 5 6s. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6s.
Okay. So I've got three re-rollable fates.
Please succeed.
That's amazing. Right, are we ready? Right, so
You've still got the reroll, my friend.
right.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I feel awful.
Over the next few turns, the carnage continued, and the elves were utterly broken militarily. However, they still held the most objectives, and were still on for a victory. As we entered the last turn, I charged the centre and rightmost objectives. If I took at least one, I would win. If I failed to take either, Paul would win. That is, of course, unless I've done something incredibly stupid.
Strike.
Okay.
Shit. Have you just seen what I've done?
What's that?
Well, there you go. In that case,
Sorry, it's another turn.
in that case, I'm going to spend it on a heroic combat
Okay.
to try and sling back onto
Okay.
there. To correct my stupid error. I can't believe it.
So that shifts the goalpost slightly. I now have to win at least 2 combats to win the game.
Let's go over here first because it's making me anxious.
Yeah.
So I've got the 2 attacks.
There's been a lot of anxiety in this.
Yeah.
Oh, he's rolled that 6.
I've got it. So just the 2 strikes. But yeah, push you back off the objective. Don't kill you. Now let's do this one because it's also making me anxious. So I've got 3 with Theoden and 1 with each of the others. 1. So you're trapped. So I'll just roll that twice. All on the rider. He's dead. So I slingshot back onto the objective. These 2, because it's the last one that really matters, isn't it, in this thing. So I've got 1.
Well, the middle one's quite important.
Oh no!
I've got fight value.
You've got fight value, okay, so you pushed me back. I think well, let's see, I'm going to measure an inch, because that's quite important.
Yeah, you can still stay on it.
Oh yeah, the one in the middle here. So I've got 2 attacks.
Or shield.
Okay. Nice.
We then just mopped up the rest of the fights, but it had already been decided. I'd taken 2 objectives, which means I now had 3 to Paul's 2.
Yeah, it was going to end anyway. We've got 1 minute left.
That was...
So I get 2 4 points.
I get 2,
You get 6
4,
points.
6, yeah, and then 7 for breaking you, 8 for killing your
8.
leader.
So 8 4.
8-4, yeah. That was a really good game.
Yeah,
a really good game.
It had been another fantastic game, and I will take a bit of credit for the win. I was pleased with managing to divide his infantry from his cavalry, and I was pleased with baiting Elrond into an early grave. However, we cannot deny the reality that the dice gods are owed their due for this one. It is rare to see a game where one player's rolling is so consistently hot, and another's is so consistently not hot. Paul was a real joy to play against throughout, and it was a pleasure to see his stunning Rivendell on the table. They popped so beautifully against the snow backdrop. I look forward to seeing him across the table again soon. This last game for the day will be a bit different, thanks to Steve the TO, who put us in the live streaming studio. The overwhelming majority of you will already know Steve and his channel Top Table Gaming, but if you don't, do go to the link in the description. You can even watch this full game on that channel. I'd be playing Jason and his Goblin Town. Now, I've never played Goblin Town before, but I have heard the stories. He had the Goblin King, 2 captains, a mercenary captain, Grinner, the Goblin Scribe, and Gollum. He then had a bunch of goblins and goblin mercenaries, totaling 108 models, and of course he'd be generating more throughout the game with the Scribe. You'll see a banner for Top Table Gaming at the bottom of this video, but I do reiterate that I do have Steve's very kind permission to use this footage. I've not just nicked it. In an unfortunate draw for fighting Goblin Town, it was divide and conquer. For anyone who doesn't know, that's 3 objectives across the centre line, with the centralmost objective being the most valuable. Warbands will deploy in opposite corners, which means your forces will be split from the beginning. For me, Theoden and Éomer deployed on my side of the board, which is to the bottom right of the screen, and Gamling and Éowyn deployed in the opposite corner. The Goblin King, Gollum and a buttload of goblins deployed on Jason's side of the board, and the Scribe deployed opposite. Jason got priority turn 1 and began his quite arduous move phase. Does anyone go and just get a coffee while you're moving them?
I've developed some techniques
Nice.
from playing Tyranids.
The goblins surged towards the central objectives, and this gave me a difficult choice. Do I try and leverage Rohan's shooting to sit back and force the goblins to spread out and engage me on my terms, or do I try and bunker up on those objectives? With no faith in my ability to win a war of attrition, I opted for the former. Cool. Jason now rolled a courage test to generate new goblins. Oh yeah, to get
A 3. Oh,
that will do it.
So
you're getting 6 goblins.
6 guys, which is quite good.
In my move, I committed to my plan and made myself a couple of little firing platforms. In shooting, the riders on my side of the board failed to do any damage at all until the very last shot. Kills a goblin, and the one that passed does nothing. Oh, no. A goblin is dead. Yes,
I lost one.
We're making progress now.
Only 5 above where I started.
Please, can you just give me this? This at least beat the riders on the steps at the other side of the board, who failed to do anything at all.
Priority then.
Yeah, priority.
3.
3 as well.
You get it.
I got it, yes. Despite my experience of the last turn, I doubled down on my plan and only did just enough moving to make sure all my bows had a shot.
I'm going to try a courage test for the Goblin mercenaries.
Okay, cool, yeah. So I'm nosying with it.
They have passed.
Passed. So could they come on by this one then?
Yes.
And can they then charge?
No,
okay.
That's their movement.
Alright. The Goblin mercenaries did indeed show up by the house, throwing my battle line into disarray. Then came the main Goblin move and they continued their steady advance towards the objectives. Justin also summoned new goblins. I was starting to feel the pressure right about now. Shooting then. Everyone here, let's start easy. Everyone here can shoot at the mercenaries. Hit on 4s. That wasn't ideal. No, right, 5 4s. Okay. So that's 1 goblin dead. And then over the other side, that's 4 hits, to be fair. There's no kills. And then came the final shots at the new spawn goblins at the top of the board. 1 kill. Woo! Thank you very much. That's shooting done. So we're back to priority.
Yeah.
Right, I feel like we're getting into the big one now.
I've got a 1.
Okay, that's handy. I got a 6. So, my priority, would you like to call any heroics?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm just going to let you go and see what happens.
Okay, so I want to be careful that these are move 5, right?
Yeah. The king is 6.
King 6, but
He's quite far away.
He's quite far away. So basically, as long as I'm on this line here, sorry, I'm going to be really, really sweaty and just like mark that out. Then it's all good.
I mean, that's all I do. I just use goblins to mark it.
Oh, really? I charged as many of the mercenaries as I could without exposing myself to a countercharge from the main goblin ranks. On the far side, I caught the goblin reserves, and on both sides left a platform immobile to shoot. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, goblins can support even without a spear, so a lot of the mercenaries doubled up on the horses they could reach. Oh my god, all of a sudden I just feel like I'm holding back the tide. After another goblin move phase, we were back to shooting. So, we'll start up there. Only one of them moved, and that was under half, and that's this guy at the front. And we're going to shoot down into these goblins here. So the one that moved first, hit on 5, gets it, and we'll start with the goblin closest to you. Doesn't kill. So 5 that didn't move. Hit you 3 times. I've killed 2 goblins. The riders at the bottom then snagged a goblin and a mercenary.
Goblin King's going to try and throw.
He's going to what, sorry?
He's going to try a throw at this one in the middle.
So he can throw his own goblins?
Yeah, so this guy dies.
Okay, cool. I like this rule.
He is 5+, I think, yeah. He missed.
So you automatically kills your goblin?
Yeah.
And what's the strength of the bat?
It does a strength 8 if it hits. See, our goblins are pretty big. That's like artillery.
That's awesome. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So we're on to combat. You calling any heroics?
I am not.
Okay. In the non-hero combats, I killed 7 mercenaries and felt like I was finally making some progress until a charging royal guardsman was killed in a one-on-one. And then the last one here. You've got, what, 1, 2...
I think it's
3,
captain
4.
and 6.
Oh, you've got a captain, I forgot about that. Yeah. And I'm fight 5 because I charged. Is your captain fight 4 or 5?
He's 3.
3. Okay, so if I get the 6, then I've got a 6.
You got a 6.
I'm going to put all my attacks on the captain.
Okay.
2 5s, so I think it's 2 wounds.
Yeah.
Has he got fate?
He has got fate.
Oh,
I'll spend a mine.
Yeah. Okay. So how many mites? Is it 2 total?
Yeah, so he's got
Okay.
1. He's out of fate, he's got 1 might.
Lovely.
Priority then, I think.
Yes, priority. That's a 1, and I
also got a 1.
But I had it last time, so you've got it.
Okay, I wonder if that's going to help.
I'm going to call a move with Theoden.
I'm just going to let you. Yeah, you can go for that.
Okay, cool. So, with my heroic move, I locked down a bunch of goblins on the far side of the house. Theoden got dangerously close to the Goblin King, and I created a line that goblins would struggle to get behind. So let's just drop them down there. And now we're regular priority moves.
Okay. What can I do here? Okay, so Greener's going to spend 1 to heroic switch with me.
Heroic switch. Ah, what the? I can't. I'm livid. I thought I was being so clever. So, so it's called a heroic switch, is it?
It's called switch with me. It's a heroic action that only he has. Switch with any goblin. And then
I feel so let down.
put there.
As the 2 separate gaggles of goblins finally came together and met in the middle, I'm pretty sure they hit critical mass. Now that I'd been baited into getting close to the Goblin King and the jaws of death were closing around a handful of riders, I needed to get priority and get them out so I could continue to dictate the charges later in the game. Irma's group finally charged, abandoning the shooting plan, which was a bit like turning the Titanic moments after it struck the iceberg. The situation was similar up top. Dernhelm surrounded this little splinter group of goblins, and Gambling stayed behind to mop up the reinforcements. Then Justin rolled to see if he generated any more.
Plus 2.
Plus 2.
That's 5 guys.
The new arrivals deployed to cause Dernhelm some problems next turn. We were then on to fights. There were no heroics on either side.
So I'd like to do the king first.
Okay. Oh good, I got a big one, so...
So we've got Greener and the king.
Yep.
King got a 6. He is going to hurl.
Oh, yes! Shit! Good.
Strength 3, so it's D3 plus 2 inches. So 4 inches, that's very close. So let's do my goblins first. We've got 2 goblins.
Okay.
Over here. They're taking strength 3, so 1 dead.
I'm dead.
And Greener
Dead?
takes a wound.
I'll take the wound. Out of... How many's he got left?
1 left.
1 left.
And he'll be prone, obviously.
Okay.
So it's going to contact these 2 and Theoden as well.
Okay.
So Ryder.
It's fine, but I'll do a thrown rider test. He's not prone. 3, so that's fine.
So the next one on the Ryder. Nope.
That's fine.
And Theoden. Nope.
No. I can't put you...
So the guy who I threw takes a strength 5.
Isn't it for each... It's for each person you pass through, isn't
He
it?
takes 1 strength 5 from the hit, and then a
Oh,
strength
it's
3
for each person who
who
passes through.
So the strength 5 is a 4, which I assume is enough. And then 3 goblins, Greener, and 3 cavalry.
I think that'll be enough.
Which I think is going to be... Yeah, I think that kills him.
Okay, that was grim. That was really grim. Okay, so it's 2 left on Theoden. So I'm going to shield. I think you can if you're prone, which will give me 3 dice with 5.
Yeah, you win.
Yep.
So I get pushed back.
In the ensuing combats, I killed another swathe of goblins, but he had now generated enough to outnumber my starting force 4 to 1, and he had the difficult Gollum Goblin King combo to deal with. There is no doubt that my path to victory was slipping away. Okay, well, priority then.
1.
2. Oh, thank God. Sorry. Oh.
I think just because I have it spare anyway, I think I will do a move.
I think we're probably going to countercall with Theoden. I just don't want to give you that, I'm afraid. And that's going to get everyone except for Irma up there, which is actually quite handy. So 1, 2, or 3, it's yours. 4, 5, 6 is mine. It's mine.
Okay.
Now the Goblin King causes terror, so I couldn't risk charging with Theoden, him fluffing his test, and the move failing to go off. Theoden therefore just jumps up to try and finish off the injured Goblin Captain, a bunch of riders get in with the King, and a bunch more block off their rear so that they can't be paired off. By the time all the moves had finished, the game had become exactly what I hoped it wouldn't, a chaotic maelstrom in which the riders had allowed themselves to become surrounded. And as if to rub it in, Justin summoned 4 more goblins with the scribe. Cool. Okay, I'm going to do something potentially quite silly. He's got 1 wound left, hasn't he? This lad here.
The mercenary captain, yes, 1 wound left.
Okay, just because maybe this is premature. I don't see when else I'm going to do it, and I want to start making some real progress because we're running out of time. So I'm going to hit the button. Call my death special. I was so excited about it, which just wasn't worth it in the slightest. So Theoden better strike up to get ahead of Gollum. Thank you. The remaining 3 heroes, Éomer, Gamling, and Éowyn, all then did heroic combats. And this is such a waste. I think anyone watching is like, what is the value in any of this? For anyone who is wondering what the point was, we were running out of time, and I was running out of hope. The only thing I could think to do was break him as quickly as possible, so that enough ran away that I could get onto the objectives and claim a come-from-behind victory. Was it a good plan? No. It was the only one I had. So we go with Éomer first. He's getting 4 attacks on the charge.
So he's against...
He's against just this guy here.
Captain who's got 1. I've got a 6.
I didn't. Right, well, I'm going to spend one of Éomer's might to get up to a 6. So double strikes. It's only 1-5, but that should do it. But there you go. We're actually going to come around here and we're going to try and fight 2 more goblins, just to get a bit more value out of his turn. So let's go with Gamling next. He gets 3 attacks on the charge. I got a 6.
Yeah, you win.
So I've got 3 strikes to make. So first one on the goblin furthest from me, on this one here. He's dead. Second one on the goblin. He's also dead, yeah. Try and grab 2 more goblins there. Let's go with Theoden on Smeagol. I'm going to strike up. For a 1.
Oh,
so you're still winning on fight value.
Yeah.
Okay, how many attacks do you have?
Just 2.
Okay, I think I also only have 2 with Theoden. Don't you dare. Oh no! Does he have any might?
He does have might.
Oh god. I've got it on a 2. This is pathetic. This is
the worst attempt at strangling I've ever seen.
Okay, quite
How much
pathetic.
might do you have?
So Theoden has
spent 2, hasn't he?
Spent 2. So he's got 1 left. So I could might up if you might up.
Yeah, I'm gonna, because I think a mightless Theoden's gonna be better.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. So I will might up. Pathetic Theoden, absolutely pathetic. 2 attacks, I think, for Theoden. That's correct me. And you are defense
4.
Okay, 2 wounds.
2 wounds, yeah. 1 fate.
2 wounds, 1 fate. I'm just sitting down. That's snake eyes. Let's go with... Oh god. I mean, look at the Goblin King's going to trash those riders. But I need to do it while the banner's there. 2 riders on the Goblin King.
Just... King...
You've already got 6. Yeah, okay.
Right, that one, I think I will hurl that one, yes.
Yeah, you know what's really funny is I completely forgot about the hurl, even though it happened last turn.
So he's going 2 plus his strength 3 again, is he?
Strength 3.
So 4 inches, these 3.
Those 3.
Obviously it will get these 2 guys as well for the combat.
Yeah, cool.
So, right, the guy I'm throwing then, he takes a strength 5, we'll start with that. Nope.
No, he's good.
But he also takes 1, 2, 3
strength 3s.
Strength 3s. Yes.
Oh, 6! Nice.
Ordinary, Goblin dead, greener, he's okay. And this guy will be dismounted, won't he?
Oh, he will. Yes. The rest of the combats proceeded largely as expected. I killed a lot of goblins, lost a couple of riders, and ended in a similar position to that which I'd started in. Cool, should we go back to priority then?
I think it is. So, 3.
You've got it. I did not call any heroics, so Jason just got cracking with his move. My movement phase was quite a bit more straightforward. Grab them. So basically get rid of your support.
Yeah.
Cool. Gambling's going to do heroic defense. Now is the time to get the defense out. It was a bloody turn for the Rohan. I lost more warriors than I killed goblins, and Gambling just clung to life thanks to his heroic defense, with 1 wound and no fate. By the time it was done, I was broken, and the goblins held all 3 objectives. Good game, good game.
So you had some terrible luck towards the end there.
As nice as that was of him to say, I don't think it was luck that lost me this game. My sit and shoot strategy, which I held onto for 3 turns, was incredibly stupid. I should have rushed off to the scribes part of the board and defeated that portion of the goblin force with my overwhelming cavalry power and stopped them from generating new goblins. I could then have dealt with the other portion of the force, but you know what? Who cares? The great thing about fighting Goblin Town is even when you're losing, you're taking handfuls of goblins with you, which is pretty cathartic. After this, it was time for pizza and endless debriefing. Between Hayden, Graham and I, we'd won just a single victory, so we'd have to pull our fingers out on day 2. Especially if we wanted to win anything from this incredible selection of prizes. I'll upload day 2 shortly and I hope you'll check back because it gets spicy. I also recently started a buy me a coffee thing and 2 people actually donated. You have no idea how much that made my day. Absolutely incredible. So thank you so much to Tom and to my mystery supporter. I'm finding ways to reward everyone who donates, past and future. The link to my page is in the description. Finally, I really don't want to ask you to like and subscribe. I know it's cheesy and annoying, so if you just do it anyway, it's going to help us all out. Thank you so very much for watching.
So I just went for a shower. First, there are these little cubicles, and I got fully dressed, phone in my pocket, and then backed into the shower so that I got showered on. And then, as you can see in this clip that I guess I'll put here. I have to choose between towel and door. I choose door.
Oh shit.
I got the towel stuck in the door mechanism, and we spent, how long do you reckon, Hayden? Like 10-15 minutes?
Yeah, something
trying
like
to
that.
get this. It was just jammed stuck. And so we had to saw, we had to pull a hole in the towel and then saw until eventually it came loose enough that the door would open. So, yeah, it's been a good successful day's camping.